a September premiere that's still remembered today. Welcome to our channel. Today we delve into the history of the legendary Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, a mid-engine sports car unveiled to the world in the autumn of 1967. Watch the video to the end to learn all the details about its creation, technical features, operational nuances, and the amazing fate of this iconic model. Autumn 1967. In Monza, Italy, the legendary city of motorsport, Alfa Romeo decided to show the world something entirely new, the mid-engine sports car Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale. And if this car left anyone indifferent, there were probably very few such people. The premiere was a real event. So many people gathered that the excitement turned into a minor crush. Fortunately, everything went without incident. Less than 2 months later, the model shone again in public, at the Turin Motor Show dedicated to sports and racing cars. Again, crowds of onlookers, admiring glances, and enthusiastic comments. The 33 Stradale's design, created by Franco Scaglione, immediately became a benchmark. Every line of the body, every curve, was styled in what contemporaries called music in metal. Journalists, especially those lucky enough to conduct test drives, were simply overwhelmed. Articles about the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale were filled with epithets about how the car combined the best Italian traditions of engineering and design. But there were also more objective comments. For example, the German magazine Automotive and Sport noted not only the stunning driving characteristics, but also the drawbacks that might give potential buyers pause, details that can't be ignored. The main complaint was the virtually non-existent ground clearance. The Stradale sat so low to the ground that parking on ordinary curbs became an impossible task. Another surprise was the complete absence of locks. Leaving the car unattended meant completely relying on the honesty of those around. Starting the engine, especially in cold weather, was a separate headache. When the driver turned the ignition key, only 5 or 6 of the 8 cylinders would start, with the others joining later. The result? The car roared, shook, and demanded patience. Added to this was another inconvenience. The engine oil wasn't isolated from the cabin, meaning it got as hot as an oven inside, especially on warm days. A racing engine in a road car. Technically, the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale was almost entirely transferred from the world of racing to the streets. Behind the seats sat a 2-liter V8 with direct fuel injection, producing 230 horsepower. This was the same engine used in the company's racing cars. The engine was equipped with 4 overhead camshafts, 2 per cylinder block. This power allowed the car to accelerate to 100 km/h in 6 seconds, and the top speed reached 260 km/h. The racing version of this engine developed even more power, up to 270 HP. But of course, this variant was exclusively for the track. Chassis and interior nuances. The chassis design almost entirely replicated the racing modifications. The only noticeable change was a 10-centimeter increase in the wheelbase to add a little space inside. But despite this, the cabin was still extremely cramped. Tall drivers and passengers suffered particularly, sacrificing comfort for the opportunity to experience this machine in action. The car's height was only 99 centimeters, which created unexpected problems. For example, a truck driver might simply not notice such a low car in traffic. Initially, the 33 Stradale was conceived as Alfa Romeo's flagship, but it quickly became clear that the car was too specialized. The excessively loud engine, cramped interior, lack of air conditioning, and problematic parking made it desirable but unsuitable for everyday life. In the 2 years of production, from 1967 to 1969, only 18 units were produced. Many dreamed of this car, but purchase was only affordable to a select few, both because of the price and the operational peculiarities. In 1970, Alfa Romeo released the Montreal, which had a more spacious and comfortable interior, air conditioning, and an engine enlarged to 2.6 liters. It became much more popular and commercially successful, but it failed to eclipse the 33 Stradale's iconic status. The Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale is not just a car. It's the embodiment of audacity, speed, and aesthetics that left an indelible mark on automotive history. It didn't become mass-produced, but that's precisely why it's valued even more. The Stradale remains a symbol of how a racing car can be transformed into a work of art, albeit with a number of compromises.